Welcome everybody to another exciting launch day for a amazing Kickstarter, Rifts for Savage Worlds Europa. It is crazy. You guys all joined like gangbusters. We appreciate all the support for this amazing Kickstarter campaign. And we've got some of the design team here to help celebrate the launch of this great campaign. But before we get to the team, because we use these to mark the occasion, this has been a pretty crazy. We are over 60,000 on launch day, 632 loyal backers. Thank you so much for joining us on this fun adventure. It has been a hot minute since we have had a Rifts for Savage Worlds on Kickstarter, a couple years. The last one was Atlantis, which was amazing. Great book. Glad to have that one in my hands. But we did some experiments. We took a couple of things to Game Changer. So for folks who are Kickstarter loyalists and have not joined us in a hot minute, we have a pledge level just for you. So I will indulge me for a second. I've got if you're just joining, in the comments on your favorite platform, that's the link to join the Kickstarter. But let me run through real quick what we got on offer for you guys, folks. So that's everything new for Europa. There's 2 hardback books. One's a 200-page Rifts for Savage Worlds Europa, which has got the British Isles, New German Republic, Neo-Rome, the Phoenix Empire, the Broadkill Empire, the Gargoyle Empire, the Free Scandinavian Alliance, which is really cool because this is material that has not even been published in like Palladium Rifts yet. And the Russian frontier and a whole bunch in between, even North Africa, which is really cool. And then there's the Foes of Europa, which is a 128-page hardcover book with statistics for the creatures and enemies found across Europa, Savage Tales, a whole plot point campaign, and even more goodies in store there. And then we got more maps. Map Pack 4 has got Europa Battlefields, which is a double-sided 30-inch by 24-inch fold-out battle map with a Millennium Tree settlement, so you can go hug some trees if you're a hippie type, or one of those druids, because or the Moscow Dead Zone. So a lot of cool stuff on the battle map. And then the box set has it all. It's got the Europa source books, the foes, the battle maps, the archetype dossiers, which are our favorite. Like we launched this product with Rifts, and people love them. They're like even cooler than character sheets. They're bigger, better, like everything in Rifts. And and also the pawns, because pawns are great. Art on both sides, full color art, just the same thing kind of out of the archetypes in the book. We put them on double-sided pawns that are really nice material with stands. So pawns are pretty great. And there's also the archetypes pawns and the political map are also only available in the box set. So if you've followed us, the pledge level that is great for you is let's get to it, the $100 box set Europa. That's everything new, $100 in for all the goodness. And then if you missed out on some of the goodness, we have the catch-up in print, $250 in print, and that also includes the Land of a Thousand Islands, which is the South America source book, and the Terror on the Dark Frontier adventure box set, which is the first adventure box set for Rifts anywhere. And that's another awesome add-on, which has got pawns in it, maps in it, like handouts, all the good stuff. So you want to run that game. So if you haven't seen us since Atlantis, this is the one to get. You can get caught up, and the pawns, the archetype, all that good stuff. So lots of going on in store. Hit the link below. But now, pop in your questions for the design team. and I'll go around the let everyone introduce themselves. And I think my first question is going to be, what excites you most about this campaign team? So let's make some real estate on us, and we've got to invite 2 more folks on screen. So let's see, stop sharing and share some people. There we go. Awesome. So welcome, folks. We got 2 exciting more people, Aaron and Johnny Rocha. Welcome. So
Hey.
pop your comments.
That's a spicy meatball.
You're not green this time. You look absolutely like flush like a real human being. If you didn't see Johnny in our actual play playing a very green-faced character, it was awesome. It was amazing. It's in the archive.
I didn't think you could look any worse, but here we are. Yes.
Handsome, sir. Handsome is the
word. Right.
So yeah, guys, pop your questions in the chat, but we'll run around. Let's start with this way. PK.
Hey.
Sir, welcome. And what is your most exciting thing that you are happy to have fans see out of Rifts Europa?
I think my favorite thing was that not only were we encouraged to and allowed to advance the timeline, working obviously with the Robeson, but that we were able to break stuff. I got to have fun with the British Isles and the Mediterranean, and advancing the timeline in those areas meant doing some crazy things. So, obviously, like England and Ireland have more ley lines than pretty much anywhere else in the world by density. So what if we corrupted them and ruined them in an interesting and mysterious way that the GM can use for an amazing overarching plot? Ireland's full of, fairies and fae folk running around, mostly background color. What if we militarize them?
Yeah, they're not so nice. Like in the picture, we've got like a knight on a horse, got a cool shield on his face with a sword that's like blasting like electric energy, and he's not being nice to little fairies. Like these aren't your Grimm's fairy tale fairies. Like these are some, like, what's going on with the fae?
Actually, I disagree. They are kind of like
they're not Disney. They're not Disney fae.
Right, they're not Disney fairies. No, these fairies can actually be pretty terrifying en masse. Very much so. And then in the Mediterranean, getting to advance the timeline there, with the whole 4 dying, having they gave an excuse to have like the essence of death permeate the Sahara, turning into patches of this powerful, almost necromantic, deadly pale sand. And so I had players who found different ways to try to weaponize that and come up with like crazy ideas. And I'm like, well, that's great, because I'll just have the bad guys do it too. Sounds awesome.
So that's the cool thing, is like this goes from Scandinavia all the way down to North Africa. So, I mean, our interpretation of Europa is pretty broad. There's a whole lot in this book. So a lot to fit in the pages. So John Stevens, while my own little Pharaoh-loving Tutankhamun pup here is trying to get on screen. Tell me, John, what are the things that you're most excited about people getting involved with in Rifts Europa?
Oh man, so much. But 3 things I think obviously everyone's going to ask. So yeah, temporal magic is huge. And we were able to do it in a super fun way using a kind of modifier on powers that already exist. So that allows you to add another layer to the already mega powers in Rifts. You can have temporal powers. And the way it works really well with the system, but also adds a whole other level of flavor as well. So we're pretty good to get timey-wimey on things there. I love the plot point campaign. It's really in-your-face personal, but also has a bit of a, tour of Europe, kind of like Indiana Jones or, Dan Brown novel, traveling around to these historic places, but they're not just historic because they're post-apocalyptic. And so there's just lots of that kind of fun stuff. And the bad guy is just always there.
What's the plot point called? What's the name of the plot point campaign?
It's called The Golden Bough. It comes apparent what the Golden Bough is as you go through it. But the bad guy's always there, but you can't get him. And so it's really frustrating and annoying. My players already hate him, and we're playing through it right now. And we've managed to kill at least one person already. So it's fun, gritty, dark, grim fairy tale Europe, not Disney for sure. And then, it's Triax in the NGR. And to see some of the art of those robots that you grew up kind of salivating over in full color, ready to go as pawns or full page. Can't beat it.
Oh, so good. So good. So, Mr. Young, Patrick, what's up, sir?
How are you?
Good, good. Welcome to the stream. And what are your devilish contributions to Rips Europa, and what are you excited for folks to get their hands on?
My biggest one actually would probably be the Scandinavian, the Pre-Scandinavian Alliance.
That one's causing some
was
stir. I've seen a lot of comments online going like, "How are you guys playing in that sandbox when I haven't even written it, or they haven't even written it for Palladium yet?" So dig in there. Tell us what's going on in Scandinavia, sir.
There's quite a bit, and we certainly had some bones. There's always been some bones up there, but we had to put a lot of meat on there, and it's a lot. But it's, what do you do with an advanced pre-Rifts military that also embraces their Viking heritage, because they do. And oh, by the way, there's also whole tribes of giants up there. Not the giants you're expecting, but there's giants up there all the same. And they hate each other for mostly because they're sharing the same very sparse growing regions and grazing regions. And they're all just dying to the werewolves, because the weird wolves from the far north are unstoppable. We're calling them weird wolves specifically because they've managed to mutate past the nuclear radiation that happened in the north and in Russia and everywhere else, and they spread from all of pre-Scandinavia all the way into Russia, and it's a problem for everybody. And they're one of the nicer things, in my opinion. Well, in that they don't stop. They're not the type of, you can't just beat them because they just come back.
So good.
The other thing that I really loved, we put in rules for to kind of dig in more into the military side of things, which is important for the NGR. The NGR is a fully modern, ultra modern force with all kinds of support, and that means you should have air support. That means you should have artillery, and we came up with rules for that to make it fast, fun, and furious on the table, not sit there and have a big set piece, but to be able to totally have artillery pounding your enemies, or you, depending on which side of it you're on, and not be bogged down by a ton of heavy rules, but have a lot of fun that allows players to interface with it and allows GMs to have just a ton of fun.
That's so exciting, man. I think the new requisition rules and the advanced rules, just more game master options, right? I mean, they like Rifts. Rifts is a hard concept to fit in any one box, and so the more tool sets we can give you guys to play the kind of games you want to play at whatever scale you want to play, like, we're more than happy to do it. Like, it is definitely, I think, some of the best design work going on in the whole TTT RPG industry right now, because I mean, like, how it is not an easy task, right, to take the megaversal scale of Rifts and keep the fast, furious, fun design ethos of Savage Worlds. But I think you guys are all hitting it out of the park. So, if no one else throws awards at you, you got one from me for the, it's great stuff, right? And that's it was challenging, but I think fans have responded, and by all means, well deserved on the accolades. And it's just like I think it's great that this is a line that is, I mean, it's not slowing down, right? I mean, there's if you look at like the catch up, there's a huge amount of stuff we put out for Rifts for Savage Worlds, and and folks are really excited. Like, okay, what's next? Like, guys, we just launched the EUROPA campaign. Like, calm down. There's other stuff out there. There's like almost 40 years worth of Rifts material for us to start taking stab at. Like, we got some time and some space to do this. Oh, and then people are like, let's do space too, like literally space, like. Oh my God!
Yeah, low orbit.
Right.
I'll polish up that Landy and put it on my shelf.
Right there we go. Yes, I've got Landy's. I got a 3D printer. We'll start making some little like statuettes.
That's pretty good, actually.
So, Aaron, since you spoke, it's off to you, sir. what? I mean, you had your very first Rifts character. What got you into the Rifts universe, the hobby itself. You're finally able to bring that to Rift for Savage Worlds. So tell me about it.
Right. So yeah, my very first Rifts character, Artem, was a Mystic Kuznaya. And it was like that's the coolest OCC out of Mystic Russia, the first Rifts book I ever owned. And like ever since then, this combination of like you're superhuman, you have these really strict behavioral guidelines, and also you like shit 14 karat gold. Like all of these things all at once just really create a vast sandbox for your imagination, right? I don't know if they're the most Rifts character, but they're the most Rifts Europa character to me, in that all the things they happen to cross-pollinate and pull together and do all at once.
You really started with the hard drugs, Aaron. I can't believe you started. Like my first Rifts character was a glitter boy, the thing that's on the cover. Right. You went deep into the tank to find your first character.
Oh yeah. For me, the real buff lady, Mystic Kuznaya with the huge hammer, like that's by Wayne Bro, like that's Rifts art to me. Just the fake full page splash. His name hidden in the hammerhead.
I was pretty basic too. I'm like, I like to play Malkavian, so I'll be your crazy.
I like Craces a lot. I like them a lot. Mindworks makes them better.
Aaron gets the streak of the cred, like, or what we call it, like the deep dive cred.
Oh yeah, that's definitely some hipster nonsense of when he's talking to other Rifts people about what his first character was. They're like, oh, he's cooler than us.
The bougie mystic Kuznia.
Yeah. You know. Only real Rifts players play characters that start off being MDC. You have to wear armor to survive a laser rifle. Chumps.
That was about
Weekend warriors.
Wait till they see what the Kuznaya's freaking war maul does.
Oh yeah. It's a night stick for sure.
She's gonna be one of the dossiers, y'all. And I wrote the dossiers and I passed it to Aaron. I'm like, is this right? He's like, looks right. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Nice. So tell me about what's going on in Romania, sir.
I mostly mentioned Romania is interesting because it's actually a place where a bunch of different plot threads, only mentioned in a paragraph here, a sentence there, all kind of come together. We know that there is a really obnoxious vampire intelligence named Vladivar, who is like has been constantly trying to enter Earth through Romania, right? This is mentioned in Aftermath. This is covered in like Vampire Kingdoms. I think this is covered also in like Mindworks. Like this poor guy cannot catch a break. And with the advance in the timeline that we were allowed to make, he's kind of made it, but he's also kind of shot himself in the foot. There's also like a mention in Rifts Canada about something going on in Romania that astute readers will catch up on. So it's a really interesting adventuring location, even if we didn't have a lot of page real estate to devote to it.
Oh, sounds so good. So good. So everybody's favorite tattooed ogre is making an appearance. Johnny, sir, before I get to like your crazy contributions to this book, I think it's a good opportunity, since you worked so heavy on the last release, for everybody out there who might have missed Land of a Thousand Islands and the Terror of the Dark Frontier. Give us a little recap of like what's been going on in the Savage Rifts verse, and then get to some of those crazy edges that you contributed to this book.
Oh, so I get to be the hype man for the catch-up pledge.
Yes. Sell that pledge, sir.
You
do it.
100% do it, because look, Land of a Thousand Islands and Atlantis and the Demon Seas and Europa, this is now the venturing outside of North America, right? So if you've been playing exclusively in North America, you've juiced that lemon. All right, you've been playing your crazies, your glitter boys down for a while. It's time to start becoming some gizmoteers, right? Some Amazon demigods. It's time to start playing in that world, because the stuff that's happening in South America is, first off, bonkers on a meta plot level, right? The built-in plot point campaign and the level of things that are happening between Incan gods coming back to the earth and Megaversal Legion and alien invaders and this continent-wide war between vampire intelligences and dinosaur robots, and then, good old human soldiers there in the middle. It's a really just phenomenal backdrop, and it feels very different from the North American backdrop. The North American backdrop was in many ways meant to be not static because there's dynamic things happening, but it was meant to be the backdrop for a role-playing game. And as some of the outer edges of the world started to get filled in the original Palladium lore, there was more play with things like ongoing meta plots and ongoing larger background stories happening. And Land of 1,000 Islands, I think this team did such a phenomenal job of dragging the PCs into that. There's so many ways to get involved in all of those different levels of the conflict. So if you're into meta plot stuff, it's so good. If you're into big plot point campaigns, it's so good. But even if you're just into playing some of the weirder edges of characters, it's so fun. The character options are incredible. A lot of the character options are so customizable. I love the demigod in Land of 1,000 Islands because it's one iconic framework, but it's not. It's like 50 iconic frameworks because of, depending on which mythology you're an adherent to, there's all of these different ways you can take it. So if you have not played with that and you've been playing in the North America sandbox for a while, the catch-up pledge is outstanding, right? And there's connections to all of this. The South America campaign and the different players in there, some of them are secretly funded by Atlantis and have these ties. And then there's ties over to EUROPA and all the things that are happening over there. So it's a great chance for you to widen your campaign scope to the larger world. So highly.
I mean, Rifts is the crazy setting where you could play a demigod and not be the most special person at the table.
No, listen, y'all are sleeping on vagabonds, right? Because let me tell you something, when everybody on the team is a dragon and a demigod and a mind melter and all that, right? You know what the vagabond can do? Go into a city and nobody thinks twice about it. He can buy stuff. He can just go shop at a town. So don't sleep on vagabond.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got a great little start with South America. We could run in there and go from the Megaversal Legion. What's going on with Neo Rome? PK or Patrick? What are the two P's? Take on the Rome for us.
Wait, say that again.
Take on what's going on in Neon Rome. Neo Rome.
Neon Rome would be
Neon Rome is my new cyberpunk setting. I haven't launched it yet. Yeah.
Cyberpunk AU, 100% totally see it. But Neo Rome.
We're gonna mess it up the rest of the stream now. Now it's just Neon from here on out. Kevin has already trademarked the term.
Absolutely. I think it's a good idea. So, when we were doing the Megaversal Legion update in South America, to make a couple of little adjustments and kind of focus on that they originally were started. That the Megaversal Legion started by basically kidnapping and enslaving the lost legions of Rome, and they were kind of the basis of things. So, when the Megaversal Legion earned their freedom, you got all of these cybered up immortal Roman legionnaires from the first to the 4th century, right? Who are wanting to see home and wondering what they missed. So they get out a bunch of boats, they go heading over there, and they end up founding Neo Rome. And it is this entirely unique and interesting new area because they start off as sort of scrappy underdogs, but they quickly start recruiting all the people, and they have incredibly high-tech alien gear that they use to their advantage, and they are sort of the sleeper hit where they're kind of dark horsing and becoming one of the more powerful powers of Europa, but a lot of people haven't really awoken to that yet. Of course, because so many people are focused on what's going on with the NGR, who are, of course, the biggest power.
Yeah, so let's talk about the NGR. The NGR, the Triax, folks are excited for it. What is going on with the new German Republic? Who wants to field that one? No one wants to talk about the German Republic? Yeah.
Well, I did the chapter. So I think there's a bunch of things going on with the NGR. One, obviously, their existing history of being kind of human survivors. Unlike a lot of Rifts, which is post-apocalyptic in the sense of a rebuilt, these guys actually are a continuous nation and military and corporation, Triax Industries, that survived the Great Apocalypse. And so they bring a big flavor, they bring a heavy technology, big human kind of, pro-human kind of way of being, not as xenophobic maybe as the coalition, so a little more live and let live. But then we updated the timeline. We brought it from 105 or 104 PA when the first book, World Book 5, came out, right up to 109. So you have this massive expansion of Triax territory as they slice the Gargoyle Empire in half and take some stuff right down to the Mediterranean. And now they're spread thin. They got to defend it. They got a splintered Gargoyle on one side and the other side, and the Broadkill Empire on the rear. And so they're still in a pitch battle for survival, but they've really kind of broken out in Europe and are trying to make a name for themselves. And so there's lots there, lots of options to play for the NGR, lots of equipment for the NGR, lots of guns and ammo. If you remember World Book 5 and you're into art and you're into gear, that was all in there. We tried to bring as much of it forward as we could that made sense for the setting. So lots happening with the NGR.
But John, why would the Broadkill be a threat? Surely they're just demons with nothing special going on. Why would they be a threat in any way? Well,
that gets a little crazy, right? Because you get Mindworks there on the backside and the Angel of Death, and she does some experiments and, cybers them up, gives them mom implants, turns them into crazies, and we have all kinds of monstrous Broadkill, crazy Broadkill. We had to make a whole book just for the monsters, right? And so there's some pretty good monsters in there. But you made some crazy edges too, right?
I did, and humorously enough, just to show how much content that you're getting with that catch-up pledge, we wrote so much stuff for Land of a Thousand Islands that it did not all make it into Land of a Thousand Islands. And if you are a real deep-cut B-side lore person for Rifts, you know that there's crazy lore sort of spread between both South America and Europa, because in South America, that's where we first saw like the ultra crazy, and there was a lot of deep lore there about some of the origination of the crazy and mom implants. But of course, when most people think of that, they think of Mindworks, which, by the way, out of every piece of incredible art throughout all of Rifts, my favorite was always that Angel of Death holding the brain with the Broadkill in the tanks behind her, with like a brain getting lowered into one of them. That was always my absolute favorite piece of Rifts art. So there are all of these different variations on crazies. I once ran a Rifts game in which I had 5 PCs and all 5 were just different types of crazy. It was awesome. It was I didn't have to write anything because what was the point? But it was just great session to session. But yeah, so some of those edges, I wrote a lot of those for Land of a Thousand Islands because we were leaning into some of the crazy lore there, but just page count didn't allow it, and there was so much other amazing stuff to squeeze in there. So all of these awesome crazy upgrades, if you want to be those different types of crazies that you remember from Mindworks, they're over here.
Awesome sauce. So with let's shoot to some questions. With all of this political stuff going on, is there a world map besides the battle maps? And the answer is yes. You get an awesome political maps, and if you get the box set, there's a full color fold out poster one as well. So yes, absolutely political map, and but it's also in the main book. So I'll answer Pikachu's chat. So that's an important question. Thank you for asking, Vankel. Let's see. Here's one I don't know the answer to. Changku Dragons.
I answered it in the chat, but yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
PK can expound upon this if he so chooses, but
oh,
yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, everyone's been asking about this, and we've been like kind of dropping little things. So I'll go into a little bit more detail to kind of satiate. A lot of people are curious about these. So the Changku Dragons, for those who don't know, they were the creators of tattoo magic. So the tattoo magic the magical tattoos that you find in Atlantis and the Demon Seas, the Changku created that, and they taught it to the Atlanteans, who then taught it to others. Mostly kept it to themselves. So the Changku are dragons who do not have a breath weapon and do not have wings, but instead they have many tattoos, the ability to give more, and these enable them to do some pretty amazing things. So you might think, oh, well, what fun is a dragon without a breath weapon? Well, let me ask you, what about a size 6 dragon that pulls out a flaming silver longsword from its arm, rears back on 4 of its legs, and charges forward with its remaining 2 arms to slice and dice you into small pieces? So that's why you don't mess with Changku. They're also going to be the only dragons who, if you choose to be one, you don't start as a baby. And that's all I'm going to say.
Nice. Okay. Giants. Are that giants? Give me giants.
The giants are very specific to Scandinavia. I even had to introduce a new herd animal because, well, giants need a lot of food. So there is actually a giant goat specific to there. But the giants are definitely a very specific flavor that fit with the whole Scandinavian. And are there the Norse heroes or aren't there the Norse heroes? They're not even really sure. So you've got that fight between the Norse heroes and the giants is central to Scandinavia, combined with fire support from NGR-based aircraft and infantry. So they're the biggest thing the Scandinavian military brings in, and their biggest influence, I'm sorry, is their shipbuilding technology. They are the absolute masters of it. And that is the thing that gives them the cachet and footprint that they have.
Nice. Sounds good. Okay. Question from Salcor. How are we handling super heavy cyborgs?
With gravitas?
Very carefully. Don't piss them off is how you handle them.
Yeah, yes. You know what Krebs syndrome is? It's not great.
Aaron, you should explain super heavy cyborgs.
Me? Okay.
I mean, you were the Russia guy, and that's where they mostly are.
That's true. Yeah, so super heavy cyborgs are a special model edge, similar to what we've seen come through Land of a Thousand Islands and Terror on the Dark Frontier. On a base, it makes you extra big, is what you'd expect, right? But it's a size above or on par with some of the largest characters that we've seen so far in Savage Rifts, because you are a walking you are a walking one-story building in a lot of ways. The built-in vehicle scale weapon for a little bit of a teaser on what happens there. What was the other thing? And then they make you. They actually are a prereq for the specialized cyborg shock trooper edges. At least one for every warlord and/or the Sovietsky. Which gets even more in the world of pretty wild customization, you know.
Oh yeah, we got a guy playing a Firebird now. After
sweet.
After his Coldborn died, he said, "I'm going to be something tougher." So that's pretty tough.
That'll do it.
So to answer Buff Dragon's question, not a new type of damage; it's an edge for cyborg characters. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
We're not putting giga damage. We're not allowed. It's more of a descriptor.
I was going to
we are going to introduce giga damage, but we didn't want to spoil it.
Look, so the Sci-Fi Companion already did it with the heavy metal rules, okay? We were just... They were really just picking up what we were putting down. Convergent design.
There's a piece of art of one of these like super heavy cyborgs that I remember from the Russia book. And it's the most terrifying piece of art, because it's this giant, I mean, he's got tread feet and 1,000 missiles but clutched in one hand is like a mall ninja knife, right? And you got to think, if I see that thing coming up over the hill, he's got tactical nukes strapped to him, he's made of 4 tanks duct taped together. If he gets close enough to me to use that knife, something's gone wrong. He wants to use it. He wants to use that knife so bad.
He's not using that knife for combat. He's using it for fun.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't want to use the missiles.
Well,
so much of the whole thing.
So the thing to remember is that because you have the Mystic Kuznaya running around the frontier throughout the long winter, trying to keep the fires lit, and keep people alive. You have a certain amount of like random magic enchanted tools, unbreakable plows and knives that'll never dull and stuff like that, just floating around. Almost every warlord has a random magic weapon. That's just a thing. So, like, you say Maul Ninja Knife, I say probably a treasure that's 300 plus men have died over. So he can hold it in his tiny shrimp arm. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. It's one of
It's the Holocaust.
Yeah.
It's the Holocaust.
Yeah, there we go.
It's not how big your Maul Ninja Knife is; it's how you use it, right?
Right. It's how many missiles you don't fire in order to get close to it.
Even in those metric European units. So this might be a one for Aaron. Do we know yet what the largest pawn of the new pawn set is?
Largest pawn? I actually don't know. I think it might be the Gargoyle Lord. Or his counterpart robot. I think it's the Gargoyle Lord.
I don't think we have inches on those yet, though. We're still laying.
No, I haven't dealt with that yet. Nobody's made that my problem. I'm sure it's just coming down the pipe.
That's a really late stage thing to take care of. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, but in a perfect world, it'll be probably be the Gargoyle Lord, just because they take up so much real estate in terms of size and also like casting a big shadow over the setting, right?
At some point, I want to do a pawn that we have two pieces of card chipboard that like fold over, and like you have to unfold them and then pop the pawn out of that.
Well, we've got the walker with like actually
The Skullwalker is pretty good about that, where you put the pieces together.
I mean, one the size of a tabloid one is what I mean, like the size of like 11 by 19. I don't know.
All 2 pages for one pawn. I mean,
all right, wait. If you ever do, you remember the Coalition Death's Head transports? There was only like 6 of them in existence, and they were these giant kind of flying fortress things. Just have the box the pawn set comes in be that. Like you just take the lid off the box and set it down on the table, and it's just on all sides the Death's Head transport.
Mm-hmm.
That one's free, boys.
That's good. It's good marketing
I think you
genius
said that
right
one
there.
before, actually. Now that I think about it, I think I've heard this one before.
Oh, I know, because I thought it was a great idea. I was advocating it. I was like, "Can we make this happen?"
See, great minds.
It's good. It's good. The question from Savage's fanboy: does the Romanian vampire intelligence have a foot? I don't know how to parse that sentence, but maybe someone here does.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm too dumb for this reference.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Somebody asked if it was going to like set foot in XYZ territory, and that's.
Hold on. The answer
Does it have
a
a foothold, as in like how heavy of a foothold does it have, say, compared to like the Mexican vampires?
Yeah, no. He has just enough vampires to have 2 masters, and then like that's kind of a double-edged sword for him. You'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's good.
Thousands of feet.
Sweet. The let's see. Oh yeah, PK Kitty. Definitely get the ketchup pledge. We have to eat. Please, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you could be a demigod, and again, this is just crazy. It's crazy to me because I was like, oh yeah, the demigods are pretty powerful, and they're like, no, Landau, are not even close to what we have on store for you. Like, really? You can be a demigod, and yeah, no, you're not special. You're cool. But
yeah, well, it says demi right in the name.
Yeah,
right.
All right.
We got a few steps up from that, you know. Yeah.
You know, Gilgamesh is only like 7/16 demigod. You're the same way. It's a weird percentage. We don't want to think about it too much.
Oh, nice, good stuff.
Can I ask you also, just because this is something that I thought about, and I feel like other people may probably want to know, how do you feel going into Europa, like as a person buying Europa and going into and experiencing it? What are the differences between approaching that book in I'm going to run a Europa game, right, where that's going to be setting game, versus I have an existing game that I've been running for a while full of North America people that now I want to use Europa stuff or maybe take them to Europa? Like, what are the differences there in those two approaches?
So I would say one of the big things with Europa is while it is a monster-haunted wilderness, there are people who live there. They survived their forebears survived the cataclysm in many cases. The tendency for there to be a sense of history is very intense, and so the odds of them being complaining about you about like treating North American adventurers as invaders is a little bit higher than you would think, especially coming from North America, where it's much more of a manifest destiny, unpopular, like mostly empty wilderness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the politics of all of the factions actually plays in a lot in Europa. Like what King Arthur is doing with regards to France, how the NGR is taking that, how the gargoyles are taking that, and all of the other smaller factions.
How all the locals in France are taking it, right? We know that there's a dozen kingdoms. They're unnamed, right? That's Kevin's purview, but
yeah, well, they take it haughty. They pretend they don't speak the language you speak, even though they do speak the language you speak. They just pretend they don't.
Right.
Speak their own Euro. But also, okay, so you're talking about people who have an existing campaign. I think it's worth pitching that even if you don't take your PCs over to Europe, there's still so much of Europa that you're going to want to just bring into other games. Temporal magic is not a Europa-specific thing. We did it in Europa because that just seemed like a good place to do it. That's roughly what was introduced in Actual Rift. But temporal magic is available to people in the Federation of Magic. There are temporal wizards there. There absolutely are. There's even one Mars package that you're going to discover will even sort of getting backdoor access to temporal magic, and that's all I'll say on that for now. But there are new monsters that are found everywhere, including new types of gargoyles that aren't exclusively limited to Europe. NGR technology is available in so many places. Even stuff that's not supposed to be available is available for black market prices. You know it is. Super heavy cyborgs are primarily a Russia and to some degree New German Republic thing. However, it's completely conceivable that such tech exists in other locations as well. So there's so much that you'll be able to drop into games that doesn't require you to drag people into Europa. But if you do, I think you'll find a really good time there.
Yeah, so anybody want to take the question about what's going on in the Polish environments, Mindworks, Monster, Broadkill?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. That was actually my main focus. Nice. So yes, Tarnov is in this, and everything that is going on there. It's crazy how much they're involved in things that everyone's kind of looking at them going, "You did what? You said what?" So Tarnów, for those who don't know, is a small kingdom in the south of Poland that is pretty much dead in the heart of Broadkill Empire territory. There is no reason it should exist, except that they've got a secret weapon in that they can turn tin, aluminum, and other soft metals into mega damage materials and make all of the gold and silver they want. Yes, I said make. Because unbeknownst to most of the world, they have access to the Philosopher's Stone.
The true sleeping lion in the heart of Europe, right?
Of course, it should be noted there's a reason it was considered cursed. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but there's a reason it's considered cursed. And the fact that it's in the hands of who is most widely considered one of the most honorable and loved by his people kings should say a lot of things. It's a very, very Rips thing. But the Broadkill Empire are absolutely incensed at their presence. They don't understand it. They don't get it. They just should not have the manufacturing power they do. And yet, because of the rivers, They actually are one of the bigger shipping powers in Europa. It's them and the Free Scandinavian Alliance. That's it. Now there's other people that have it, the EGR and everything else, but everybody builds from one of their 2 ship lines. So,
Right.
and the rivers in Europe are pretty large and very navigable.
On
Nice.
behalf of the Kingdom of Tarnuk, we would like to denounce the man Patrick's words. What he says about King Peter the Great and Glorious is propaganda and should be ignored. All hail King Peter.
All hail King.
Long live King Peter.
Fantastic. So we're coming up on the close of our time. So guys, any last minute questions, throw them in the chat. We should have this design team on again, hopefully next week. But if you're seeing this a little late, or we don't get to your question tonight, I mean, this book covers a lot. We've got England, France, there's temporal magic going on, the New German Republic, the Gargle Empire, Jaeger gear. We haven't even talked about Jaeger gear yet. We just talked about Poland, the Mindworks, the Monster Broadkill Empire, Russian Frontier, the FSA, Mystic Kuznaya. And then of course we dip down into Africa. There's the whole Saharan bit. There's some undead and some like pharaonic stuff going on. There's Neo-Rome. There's Millennium trees. We haven't even talked about Millennium trees yet.
If you know, you know.
We have so much to say still.
So lots of goodness in this campaign. We're really excited for it. So I don't know. Maybe this is not the right stream to talk about what might be next, but I think there's some hints. People think, hey guys, Rifts Asia makes the most sense for next, and then Devil's Theater is like Asia, and then Australia. Are we running out of licensed material? I mean, come on, guys. There's decades of material, so like we can find stuff to make books out of. But the anybody here want to drop some little hints on? Are we still working in Europa and finishing that up and polishing up? Don't even want to talk about what's next, or
Look, you know Jody will have my thumbs if I leak the title of the next book. Even if I will say this, we had it figured out before we even started on this one.
well, so there's a plan. That's all we need to know. Like,
there's always
I would say just like the Cylons, but it turns out that like nobody ran the reboot. Actually, the Cylons did not have a plan. The marketing team had a plan, but there was no plan. So unlike, I actually like
God has a plan, Landauer. How dare you besmirch?
I mean, I'm rocking whatever that plan is. No, sorry.
We've already been kicking around a lot of great stuff, but nothing that we can like openly.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's
great.
great.
You're gonna like it,
Johnny.
Right?
You can't be on stream and then also threaten us in the chat. That's too much, Johnny.
Right. Sell the book we have, not the book we haven't produced yet. So, but yeah, there's
listen,
really no
we can't make more books if you don't buy these ones, because everyone on this call, their salary gets paid by you buying these books. So if you want more books, all right, buy that catch-up pledge, buy that all-in, all right, get it. If somebody buys how many people have bought the all-in yet? I want to make some.
Oh, it's crazy. It's
like 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't make the offer I was going to make then.
No.
You guys get a salary?
You guys
We get paid? What's happening here?
So yes,
you guys get money? What?
link is in the chat. The Kickstarter is going wild. It is already funded. I mean,
we went up $4,000 just in the time of this discussion.
We are awesome. Oh my god, it's all us.
For itself.
Really us.
You guys
are awesome. You guys are
Yeah.
100%.
It's not us. It's all the community.
Getting stuff.
It's all the listeners out there.
While we were waiting, before the stream, it was like, will we hit 60K on stream? And now we're at 64.5, which is amazing. So thank you to the 653 backers. You guys are great. Actually, let me throw this up on screen for posterity, just so in the future we can be like, I mean, I would keep notes, but it's so much easier to be like, oh, let's just go look at the day one stream and see what our day one totals are. It's definitely the best way of, keeping track of data. But so yeah, folks, 653 of you have already jumped aboard this campaign. Thank you so much. We've got a little over 3 weeks to go. We will be back on streaming. We'll definitely do a last hour stream to celebrate, and then we might hint at what's coming up next. So speaking of Arthur, I mean, Arthur's going to be big on the books that we're doing the next couple months. Just hint. And but let's try them one more time. Appreciate you guys. That lovely picture. Look at all that goodness. Like 2 hardcover books, pawn set, archetype cards, maps. Goodness, like whole plot point campaign. I think between the 2 books, there's like 330 pages ish of material, brand new, and so that's what's on offer. Get the box set; it's just got everything in it, plus the stuff you can't really get elsewhere. So it's the archetypes, the pawns, and the political map only in the box set. You blast some fairies with your amazing electro sword with like a goblin throwing a bomb on your back of your horse with a police riot shield. Like, you can't do that in either game but Rifts. So I mean,
the best part of that picture is that he's riding a horse.
I'm on a horse.
Look, if you zoom in close on the horse, it's high tech barding. That's like, with plasta shield type of facial protection and such like that. And the herbalist has like potions and grenades. So
it's and like the pretty little butterflies are just getting blasted. So
that right there to me is
the
like
most
the
dangerous.
most Rifts thing, is that you can have all this crazy technology or magic or whatever, but at some point you got to ride a horse.
Yeah, man, you got to hit him with that star, and you got to hit those fairies with that star juice.
Well, perhaps if you're in Russia, maybe you ride a bionic horse because, hint, hint, those are going to be in the Savage Foes book.
As requested from during Terror on the Dark Frontier.
And the Splugorth are back. There's more Splugorth action, so definite connection to. Right, they never left. But yeah, if you want your Atlantis, if you want your Antarctica, we got the tie-in. Yeah, so if you just want the book in digital, $20, pretty easy sell there. If you just want the Europa book and not the Foes book, I mean, come on, it feels a little empty without. But you can have it for $45. $50 gets you the digital box set. $100 gets you the imprint and digital box set. The 2 books, the pawns, those lovely dossiers, so good, and maps. Maps pretty sexy. And then yeah, as Johnny said, if you missed our game changer and you also need the Terror on the Dark Frontier and Land of 1,000 Islands, South America, get the catch up, and you can get it in digital or in print. And then hey, if you are just getting on the Rifts, look at all this stuff. Just getting on the Rifts for Savage Worlds train, we've published a lot, and it is all of this is updated to Suede. So 300 digital is the works, 600 in physical. But you get, I mean, look at how much shelf glory you can have. Like, I'm gonna remove the comments. You can see that full. I mean, there is so much shelf envy if you get the 600. All the lovely books. It's North America, all the stuff we did there. South America, Atlantis, the 2 big pawn sets because the pawns are amazing. Really cool if you click on the campaign in the comments, someone asked about doing miniatures. Palladium handles miniatures. We don't have a license for miniatures, but we love the pawns because they're full color and they're front and back art. And a little guy named Owen Casey Stevens that you might have heard of, big RPG designer. He happened to get gifted a box of these from a friend from Gen Con, and he did a whole review of them on his blog. So check out the Kickstarter campaign in the comments. There's a link to his blog. Not paid, not gifted by us, just happened to have a really good friend who gave to him. He's like, these are awesome for sci-fi minis and everything else. So they really are. We don't have we did the big sci-fi campaign, the companion for Suede. And folks mentioned, like, if you really want to do stuff in space, just pick up the sci-fi companion, and it works totally well with Savage Rifts and Savage Worlds Core. But we don't have our pawns printed yet, and I had to run my sci-fi adventure. And I was like, I'll just use the Rifts pawns because those have almost everything you'd ever want in sci-fi pawns, but with Rifts flavoring on top. So good stuff. Look at all the shelf envy. We appreciate all the. Let's just see how many people have done the. Thank you for the 10 who had the catch up digital. The 28 of you who are back on board after our little game changer experiment. Oh my God, 9 of you. Thank you to the 9 people who are like, hey, Rifts for Savage Worlds looks awesome.
Especially since you're probably coming in without having the stuff, obviously. So thanks for taking a chance on it and getting on board. You won't regret it. I'm sure about it.
Well, and the cool thing is, about a month after the campaign ends, we've got 3 weeks in the campaign. It takes a couple more weeks after that before Kickstarter's like, here's your money and the list of backers who successfully paid for all this stuff. Once we get that list, we can start giving you guys files. So we'll give you the files for everything that's already published in PDF right away. So you'll have a whole library of digital at your fingertips. And then we give you the draft files of all the new stuff, so you guys can be our wonderful eyes and ears on any mistakes we make or play testing, all that good stuff. So we'll give you the drafts of Europa and the foes of Europa stuff. And so you can check those out in draft form. And then we'll take your feedback on that. And then in a couple weeks after that, we'll give you the final on the PDFs. And then it's a couple months or about a little less than a year-ish. We'll send them off to get printed. They come back. We ship them to your house. It's all good. If you're wondering about shipping, we should have a shipping table estimate here soon, a couple days. But we've done a lot of cool stuff for our friends locally and overseas. We've got some European and Australian hubs to help, and Canadian now too, for all you Canucks like John down there. So you can get good Canadian shipping prices. And so we'll have that estimate, but like basically you'll pay for shipping much later, kind of closer to when we actually ship stuff out. But it's a great deal. The shipping is never better than it is then during a Kickstarter campaign for us. So anyways, folks, we appreciate you backing. We've taken up our hour. We will be back hopefully next week. We'll probably find a time to come in and we'll talk about some of the other good stuff this design team has done. So think of your questions on there. Leave us comments on the campaign if you got them for the next stream. But man, the number of you guys who pounced on this day one is epic. We're like over 65K now. So thank you. Amazing. Appreciate you. Dinner is on you guys. Yeah, appreciate you, everybody. Thank you, John and Patrick and Aaron and Johnny and PK for joining. Appreciate you seeing your faces. And then people are asking like, we need another actual play, so we'll get one of those hopefully, on the calendar. And I
think that'll be in Johnny's capable hands.
Yeah, we need more green ogre tattooed ogres.
Right.
And Johnny's behind scenes like, I shouldn't have even been on the stream, guys. I'm sorry I crashed your party. Johnny, green ogres are welcome anytime. So
if I'd had a little bit more notice, I'd have costumed up as something.
Okay.
I'll definitely costume up as something for an actual play, 100%.
All right.
Well, anyways, folks. Oh, hey, as long as you're here, I should mention, because John did some heavy lifting on this. 40% off everything Foundry VTT Rifts for Savage Worlds. Peginc.com. Click on it. 40% off all month long, rest of the month. So if you want to get playing with your own actual plays with a group at home or all over the world, Foundry VTT Rifts for Savage Worlds sale, 40% off. That's a great discount. So go take advantage of that during the campaigns. That'll last all campaign long. I know it's a little weird asking like, hey, back our books and also back the VTT, but you can play the VTT right now. So take advantage of that. That's an awesome little sale going on. And otherwise, the Rifts for Savage Worlds line is going great. We appreciate all the fan support. Seeing these campaigns So here's a little insider tip. Typically in publishing, you do your big debut of a line, and then everything else you do later just gets smaller. Like fewer people back it, whatever. We're not seeing that. We're seeing lots of strong support for this line. So whether it's Asia or Australia or something else next, pretty sure this is going good enough now. We can pretty sure say that we might even be able to pay Johnny we in something besides body paint and exposure on the stream.
I got paid plenty. Aaron sent me a copy of Thousand Islands.
Yeah.
It's great.
There's 1,000 in the title, so that's good.
Right. It's like $1,000.
Do we really want more of Johnny's exposure on stream? Really?
That's true. Odie Girk was exposed enough.
We've
all suffered now.
Yes, thank you for staying seated during the stream. Appreciate
it. He's fully bottomless right now.
No standing up. So, folks, that's our hour. Thank you for backing the campaign. Again, Kickstarter, it is running for 22 more days, so it ends on a Thursday. You guys have already knocked it out of the park. It is funded in 6 minutes today. So we appreciate the enthusiasm. But go check out the Kickstarter for Rifts Europa. It's huge. It's more than just Europe. It's like North Africa, all the way to Scandinavia. There's stuff going on in Poland. There's dragons. So it's pretty exciting. It's great. 2 hardcover books, a box set. And if you're just joining us, there's a big catch-up thing. Best price. Oh, like people mentioned, the box set, the adventure box set available. We had it during the Rich Reprint campaign that was on Backer Kit this fall, really. This campaign, if you don't have the adventure box set, the price is going to go up. It's going to be more than $100 going forward. So this is your last chance to grab the amazing value that is the $100 box set. So if you don't have that already for all the goodness that's in there, It is
And
an add-on.
that is the reprinted one, so you're getting the latest version.
Yes, all the latest versions, suede, all the revised, all the good stuff. So it is $100 as an add-on now. That's the last time it'll be available at the price. It's the cool one. It's got like the ley line walker and the glitter boy on the cover. But yeah, last chance at that price. And then like something else is also like last chance. Anyways, pick it up. I think there's one level that we didn't get the add-ons working for. We'll try to get that fixed for you guys, but it'll definitely be on in the backer kit pledge manager after the campaign. But anyways, we appreciate you all joining us. We'll see you next week. And with that, go out there and play some Savage Rifts, folks.
Have a good night, y'all.
Cheers.